Hi everybody, it's Maureen again for my Friday little interlude for your delectation. Um, it's been a bit of an interesting week and it continues. So Wednesday saw my second leaving do from Oxford and it was lovely. There was lots of lovely people there. They said lots of nice things. They gave me some really nice gifts. Lots of purple things, obviously. And I wasn't left leaving the event feeling sad or upset or any of those things that you might have thought after having been involved in the institution for 25 years, but more a sense of my time is done here. So that was my perception on when we had the drinks on Wednesday. Since then, things have gone a bit, what they might say, peak-tong. And I'm doing my level best to set up this brand new training centre and leave it in the best shape I can. And I'm being a little bit thwarted in my efforts, shall we say. So my perception right now is, let me get the hell out of here. I have had quite enough. The other thing around perception is that whilst we may interpret somebody's actions or somebody's words in a particular way, they don't necessarily come across as what the person intended or what they meant. And so you really can't get behind the words. You can't get behind the language because it's what was the intention? What was the thinking, the feeling when they wrote the words, and what state of mind were they in when they sent the words? They sent the emails, they left the voicemails, the whatevers. So I'm sitting here right at the minute, and I actually debated very strongly whether to do this today or not, because about 20 minutes ago I was really rather upset by some information that I had received. That's just my interpretation, it's my perception, it's my thinking around what was meant by the language and the words in the emails and in the phone call. My interpretation, my perception, my assumption about what it all means for me, to me, and for my legacy, shall we say. So there's a lot of ego going on in the whole understanding or interpretation of what was going on. So that's one thing. But then I was thinking around people's interpretation of how it relates to them in a bigger, wider context. So if you take health and cancer specifically, when somebody has a diagnosis, there's a interpretation or an understanding, a perception by some people that the end is nigh, that the world is about to stop turning, and none of those things happen. Not initially anyway. So it's about being mindful that any interpretation, any perception, any reaction and feeling you have to language, to words, to whatever somebody has communicated with you, it's really about your own interpretation. Because the feelings and the reaction are coming from within you and can never come from the person that has sent the information to you or given you the words, the language, or the dialogue. I'm glad this is helping for you today, Lucy. It's really quite a raw subject for me right now. So I appreciate where you're at. So I was sat here half an hour ago thinking, what the hell was it all for? Why have I even bothered in helping in the way I have for this brand new training centre for the past 6 months? What the hell was it all for? And then you stop and then you think, okay, so where is this all coming from? And why do I feel so caught out by the thinking right now? And it could just be that it's so close to the end of my official time at Oxford. I finish on Wednesday. The new students turn up on Monday, so there's a lot of extra work and activity around getting all of that set up. So part of it is that. Part of it is I'm just so, for goodness sake, tired about the whole part of life right at the minute. There's so much going on in my world, between selling a house, relocating to a different country, sorting out lawyers, surveyors, the works. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of balls to be juggled in the air. So there's a bit of that too. But it's still all coming from me. Whether I like it or not, my perception, my reaction, and my interpretation of what is going on is all self-created. Now, it's not to say that the experience that I'm going through isn't in some way measured, or my reactions are down to the fact that I am responding to other people's behavior. Is the behavior acceptable? That's a different question. My reaction to their behavior is definitely coming from me. And that's all I need to know right at this second. So as I sit here and I'm talking to you today, I'm waiting on a number of responses to emails. I'm asking for some level of appreciation and support of the stuff that we're trying to do. And we'll see whether that comes through. I know I've got a number of people have got my back right at the minute, so maybe we'll get to an acceptable conclusion. I do hope so, because fundamentally I want to welcome the new students on Monday, and that everything that I can do has been done, and that they have a very warm welcome to this institution that is the University of Oxford, and that they have a fabulous 4 years ahead of them. So as I say, this wasn't entirely what I was going to talk about today, but it's very raw, it's very new, it's very, itchy nose, sorry. It's just very right now, so that's what's happening. I'm not sure how much more I need to say about that, other than is being mindful, truly mindful, that my experience is always a self-generated thing. It's always a self-generated reaction and interpretation of whatever's going on around me, and for you too. And that's just where I'm at right at the minute. So I'm sorry I'm not full of life and bubbly and excitable and all of those types of things that I'd like to be. And right now I don't even feel calm inside. Right now I'm bloody furious. But that's not going to change things, and it's not going to help. So for anybody that listens to this in the future, or even on the line right now, that emotions are okay. They're part of the human experience. Don't dismiss them, don't suppress them, but know where they're coming from, and know that on some level they're serving a purpose. They're acting as a very strong reminder about how this thing called life works, about how the human experience evolves through our situation. That in and of itself is helpful, to me at least, and I hope to you too. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I thank you, Lucy, and for David, who's joined me now, for being here live. For anybody that's joining after the fact, if anybody wants to talk about this offline, then drop me a note on Messenger, or you can get hold of me at all the W's, maureenyorkconversation.com, and book a slot in my calendar. I'd be delighted to have a conversation with you. So I hope the rest of your day is fabulous. I'm going off now to check email and see what responses I've had to my various missives that I've sent off, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.